migrants and immigrants that are coming in to the country. So I don't know if this template will also work in those scenarios. But it's just kind of like a suggestion. If you guys have different ways of going about it, that's fine too.
Okay.
Do you guys need an example of like a past lease agreement to review, or like what would be helpful, do you think?
I think that would be helpful, yeah.
You're in BC, so yours might be different from Ontario.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like most of my questions were answered during the meeting earlier today, but just for the digital toolkit, is it like a certain way you want it to look, or?
Okay. Yeah, let me also see if I can create something for that just so it's clear.
Like, would you want it to like look like a brochure, or?
The way I was kind of picturing it was just like a package I would give to my tenant. Like these are the important points. A brochure might be nice with pictures maybe, if it could be like I don't know, that my brain just stopped at like papers, like give them some papers.
Okay.
Like that's how broken my brain feels right now. I don't know.
Okay. We can always brainstorm.
Yeah. It's just like something I can give to them so that they can refer to in like the time that they're staying there if they're ever stuck. Like, oh, is this my responsibility or is it their responsibility? Like, I don't know if that's too much to give them, but like just something I can keep in my business folder to remind myself too. Like, these are the things that I have to be legally responsible for. And then if someone pushes back, because I'm a very kind person, sometimes I get
Yeah.
bullied into paying for stuff that I never did
Yeah.
or not responsible for, and then I don't feel good about it after, but I handle it and I deal with it the best I can. So like just something like more of like a strict rule for myself. Like this is where at what point I say no.
Yeah.
Even if they're my friends, like renting from me, this is no. Um, yeah, just to protect myself. And also so they don't feel like I'm taking advantage of them because it's never something
Yeah.
I would do. But I'll try to put some ideas in here of like you guys do some brainstorming amongst yourselves what you think would be best. If you
Yeah.
were to be renting from someone, what would be like a normal thing to give your tenant versus like something really strange?
I feel like a brochure would be like the most standard way of giving out information, but
Yeah, I'd also want it to look like professional because the
yeah.
business itself is very professional.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't want anything like that looks too sketchy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like I get drawings from my nieces, and like when they were younger, they did like little stick people. I don't really want like a brochure that
Yeah.
looks like that. It's
Okay.
very cute. I
Yeah.
accept it. I appreciate it, but like something like more professional looking. I don't have any ideas of what it should look like, and I'm pretty flexible. Like if I see something, I usually like something, and I could work with it. So it shouldn't be a problem. But I was just reviewing. I didn't get a time to like review everybody's resumes, but it looks like you are studying at University of British Columbia. Are you at the same university as Arya, or I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are at the same one, studying the same thing? No,
No, I think she's in
like
political science, is what I remember. I'm in psychology, so.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But you don't ever cross paths? Is this like the first time you guys are meeting each
Yeah,
other?
I mean, the campus is like it's like a city, so if it's even hard for me to bump into my friends on campus. So I've
Wow.
never seen her before, and we don't have any mutuals on social media. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. And you're also studying Korean language and
yes,
culture. You're Korean.
I'm Chinese.
Oh, you're Chinese. You're studying
Yes,
Korean. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. There's another girl I know. She didn't go to University of British Columbia. I think she went somewhere else. Her name is like Cassandra. Talks to a lot of people, so I wonder if you would know her. She's probably in your age group, but that's like such a general name.
Yeah, I don't know any Cassandras. So
Okay. Yeah, I worked with her on Ripon, and like I just remember that she was in British Columbia too. I think she messaged me the other day. I don't remember what she was saying. I didn't have time to look at it, but it was something about I don't know, some sort of situation. She got into a job after school and it was in a jewelry business. And she didn't like her boss because her boss made fun of someone with a disability.
oh, oh gosh,
But it wasn't like a visible like she has a disability herself. She has ADHD and her boyfriend has autism. So it's like kind of an interesting mix. And then the employee had something like that, like autism or ADHD, and it's a legally protected
hmm,
disability. You're not allowed to fire someone under that context, or yeah, it's just like you don't go there. Like that's
yeah,
something the person acknowledges that they have, and you work with their disability. So the owner of the jewelry place said something like really rude, and then after that, Cassandra's like, I can't work here anymore. Like that was just like my line got crossed at that
yeah,
point. So I don't know if she ended up staying. She had to stay for a little bit longer because she was also
hmm,
coercing her to stay with her at the
oh,
job. So she was asking, what do I do? Like, can you coach me out of here? And I was like, well, first of all, you're gonna send her an email. You're gonna say,
yeah,
like, my official end date is this, and that's final. And she said she did that, and then the boss, like overstepped that and said, no, I'll keep you. Like it was like a weird situation. Like she was she was like, yeah, I'll pay you more. Like just stay. Like I need you. You're in the middle of a campaign right now. Like you can't leave. We're doing Rolex watches next week, and you're supposed to be on that project. And she's like, no, like you made fun of someone with a disability, and like she couldn't say that to her face, but I was like, say
yeah,
it to her face. Like that's what she needs to hear at that
yeah.
moment. And she didn't do it. And I was just like, that would have been your exit. And she was like, no, but I'm scared. I'm like, just tell her to her face. Like, so yeah, I don't end up I don't know what happened. I'll have to check in with her and see if she's still working there.
Oh, I hope she's not.
I know, it's such a weird situation to be caught in. And I was just like I was trying my best to tell her what to do, but like you have to have that like nerve in you to be like, you
Yeah,
made fun of someone that had a
yeah,
disability, and like it couldn't come out of her mouth. But I was like, let's practice. Like, you yell at me like I'm your boss, and you tell
yeah,
me to my face, like, what is it? What's going on? Um, but yeah, I thought that was funny because I've never been in that situation. Everyone thinks that like I'm a bit too honest at points, but you have to be in a
yeah,
sense. Because then you get stuck in situations like that. Like, you guys know when this is ending. It's ending March 31st. So if I'm torturing you in any way, like, it's done on March 31st. But also let me know if I'm torturing you. Too many emails, if I'm spamming you, like any of those things. You are allowed to say it in my face. I won't cry, I promise.
I
This is
feel
your
like over
practice.
communication is better. So
That's what I feel. But even with over communication, the other side is quiet sometimes. And it's like,
yeah,
I can't move things along unless I hear from you. So I'm gonna keep
Yeah, yeah.
spamming you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you either tell me like what's up or like, you know. So it's like there's a fine line there too. And I find you'll find that in personal relationships, family relationships, workplace relationships. Um, yeah. I don't know. This is your first job that you have here? I saw on your resume.
Yeah.
How's that going? Do you like it?
I mean, it seems very flexible right now, especially with my class schedule. So it's not too bad. The workload is not that bad. It seems fun right now.
First jobs are first jobs. They're good to get you started and help you start collecting some money.
Yeah.
My first job was at a makeup counter in the mall. I went to cosmetology classes in high school, and they paid me like $17 an hour when I was 17 years old. That was like how many years ago? Which is pretty good. I was really lucky at that point. But all my clients were gay men. Majority of them would like book ahead in advance, and they wanted like really precise eyebrows. So I would take them in the back room, and everyone thought like, "Oh my god, what is she doing in the back room?" But they're gay. Like I'm not doing anything with them.
Yeah. But don't worry, I'm just making them look nice.
Right. And precise too, like making sure like I would measure with like a stick and like a ruler and like everything. That's why they booked ahead in advance because I was like measuring every little detail. And it was nice because they're so generous. Like the gay community is so generous.
Yeah.
They tipped me like $20 cash when
Oh my god.
the service itself was $20. So I got paid double, and I didn't get the other part because I went to the owner, but it was nice to have them. And like
Yeah.
they're so kind, they're so generous. But like if you fuck up their eyebrows, like
You're done.
you're done. So I always had to make sure I was like on the top of my game at that point at 17 years old. And yeah, just learning about how to do their eyebrows the way they wanted was like also tricky because sometimes the previous person messed it up, so you have to go back in there and like teach them where to grow it out and like other things like this. So yeah, we all start somewhere. I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm sure you're also grateful to work here and to gain some experience just like with customer service and because these are all experiences that you can put on your resume and then translate to other positions. So what is something that you want to get into like in the future?
Like, I was thinking of going into like counseling, so I would have to do a master's for that. A lot of education needed.
Okay. And did you think about like which schools you want to go to for a master's, or is that still too far ahead?
I would like to stay at the university that I'm at right now, but I am looking into like other universities in BC and see which program is the most fit for me right now. But I still have a year left for undergrad, so I still have time to, you know, think through and really make my plan solid.
Okay. But psychology is a 3-year program or 4-year?
It's a 4 year program, but I did do a minor, so it took me an extra year. So I'm in my fourth year right now, and then next year will be my fifth year.
In psychology specifically? Because you
Yeah.
switched into a major in psychology versus the minor you had before?
Uh, at UBC, you can declare your major in first year, so that's what I did. So yeah, I've been doing psychology since my first year there.
What do they teach you in that one? Because I did psychology too, but just like very briefly at McMaster, and we were learning about addictions, drug
Yeah.
addictions, sugar addictions, emotional addictions, and then they had like a program where you can volunteer to get your brain checked, like with like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things
the
on your
MRI,
head.
yeah, yeah,
But there was also monkeys there too, or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, animal studies, yeah.
Yeah. I never went into that portion of it, but I'm curious, like, did they get to that point in your thing? Like, do they talk about those topics? Like, what is the main areas of focus? Like, these days, psychology is one of those fields that consistently changes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like right now, there's a lot of classes like catered to like different things. I feel like psychology itself is like an umbrella and like there's a lot of other things under it. So right now I'm taking brain and behavior and abnormal psychology. So abnormal psychology is like stuff that you see in the media, like ADHD, like anxiety, depression. So like all like the disorders. And in brain and behavior, we're basically what the title is. We're linking like our behaviors to like brain systems and how like dysfunction in the brain can like hinder our behaviors and how we diagnose stuff like that. So in brain and behavior, we do talk a lot about like animal studies, especially with like lab rats and monkeys, since they do reflect human behavior the most accurately. So yeah, we do hear a lot of interesting animal studies.
I bet. So, which type of animal studies was the most interesting that you've heard so far?
Well, we learned one yesterday, and it was like, I don't know, the way the professor described it was like really funny. So we were learning about like money and like how monkeys learned how to use money. And basically what they did is they did a study where was it there's two lab operators, and one of them would offer them grapes because monkeys really love grapes, but they would have to flip a coin, and sometimes one of them would give them two grapes, the other one would only give them one. And if they were to exchange money, they would only give the money to the lab operator who would give them two grapes. So basically they're learning like the
Pavlovian?
value of like, yeah, Pavlovian conditioning, and they're learning to like know the value of money. And we also learned that they know how prostitution works. Yeah. It's really funny.
Wow.
Yeah. Like one of the female monkeys didn't receive any money, so one of the male monkeys gave them money. And in exchange for the money, the female monkey would give in exchange sex, which was very interesting.
No.
And they would use that money to buy grapes. Yeah, it was a very interesting study. Yeah, we learned a lot of interesting animal studies.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's super interesting. I wish I got
yeah,
into psychology a bit more. That sounds like something I would want to learn about a bit
yeah.
more in like a different scenario than like humans. Because like humans, it's like it can get so complicated with all these
Hmm.
disorders and illnesses in the brain. And yeah, and then their way of explaining things could be different than reality. But with animals, it's so simple and so clear because
Yeah,
there's grapes being exchanged and something happening. Like there's
yeah.
a cause and effect versus with humans, like sometimes the effect is like later
Hmm.
producing, and like you'd have to study it over a long period of time
Yeah,
to really
yeah.
kind of connect things together. So that's really interesting. And I know because I was studying political science, that was my major, and then I did French and psychology and like film studies. Like I was just like collecting all these different things that didn't really go together, but for me it
Yeah,
did go
yeah.
together. I studied like the healthcare system to health policy, learning how different countries deal with health and
Hmm.
and like insurance and different things. Like in Canada, we get free healthcare because of this one guy back in the day that was a farmer, and his family or his siblings were getting sick, and they were chopping off their arms and stuff, and that didn't work out for him. So he implemented the healthcare system in Canada that's free. Thank God. Like I'm grateful for that. Um, I don't know what it's like in BC in terms of healthcare. Is it any better
Yeah,
or
it's pretty similar. We do get free healthcare, and at school we do have like some coverage with some healthcare stuff.
yeah, we had something in Sheridan at one point when I was there, some kind of health benefit, but wasn't very good. Like the dentist coverage was horrible. My mom just went to the dentist this morning for the first time in years. Like she has been years. That
Hmm.
was her like, I'm coming to Canada. I need to look good. She used to like chew on weeds or something because she grew up in like the country on a farm, and she would sit on the grass a lot, and she would like chew on the grass, and then it went in between her two teeth, and then her she ate
Mm.
so much candy, and that's why she has diabetes now, and she's partially blind. That's another story altogether. We're not going to go into that. She spent $10,000 when she first came to Canada, which I think was like, I don't remember what year. I have to ask her. Yeah, they drilled her teeth like completely till they're like sticks in the
Oh my
front, and they
gosh.
put veneers, like plastic ones, but her teeth always look perfect. When your teeth always look perfect, you don't think to go to the dentist. Like
Yeah.
you're like, my teeth are perfect. Why would I go to the dentist? So she went today to this like Red Door Dental, and the chair broke. She was the first client of the day, and the chair was not working. So they said, "I'm
Oh,
sorry, we can't service you. Like, you need to leave."
what an
It's like
interesting
you
start
just
to your
got her
day.
in the door. You-
That's crazy.
yeah. So she has to go back again today at like 4 p.m. or something, like ridiculous. It's a close walking distance, so it's not a big deal. And it got her out of the house for a little bit, so she got like her time to herself, which was nice, I think. But yeah, how do you go for the first time to the dentist and that happens? Like that doesn't make sense. And the chair breaking out of all things, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I know some people in my project management course, they were also studying psychology before. So they were mixing project management with psychology, which is actually a really great mix. I think
Yeah.
everyone and anyone should take project management because it teaches you how to organize things and like formulate things. Like you guys are still in school, but it would be good for your personal life, like learning how to like, I don't know if you're doing meal preps or something, but like no.
No, no.
Yeah, it helps you kind of like organize, like to make sure you're eating regularly. Because when I worked at the call center, they also had social workers and psychologists in HR, and they would do training with us. And they said there was like this acronym they used called like HALT. It's like before you answer a call, check with yourself. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or what was the last one? HALT with a T. Temperature? I don't know, something like that. Like
Temperament, maybe?
temperament? I have no idea. I have to check that out. It's a psychology like acronym. So we would have like these like regular trainings for us for our own well-being and psychology. Like that was like kind of interesting to see how they did that for employees because there's a whole other side of organizational psychology that some people get into, and this is the type of training they provide
Yeah.
for organizations. So I'm curious, like for you, like you want to become a psychologist for like people or like organizations?
I would like mostly want to do like counselor work with like younger kids and like teenagers, but obviously nothing is gonna go to plan exactly. So, I mean, psychology you can mix with a lot of things, so I'm not really worried about like work right now. But a backup plan would be like going into human resources, like HR, because since I do have like a psychology background, I feel like that would be easier to integrate into. But
Makes sense. Yeah, I just remember at the cooperators because they had that there. Um, yeah, they did those regular meetings with us. They told us about sales psychology. Did you guys ever learn about that?
no.
Like mirroring?
Oh yeah, I know that. There's like a lot of courses, it's like you don't learn like certain things. It's just like implemented into like theories that they teach. So I do know mirroring from social psychology, but
So they were teaching us that for sales to make us successful in sales, which was
mhm,
like twisted but not twisted because it's insurance. You need to know your stuff. Like we were legally obligated to submit like a criminal check.
mhm,
We had to have credit score checked, and then on top of that, we needed really strong references, and then we did like a typing test to show that we were able to do the job, and then we would learn about insurance to keep up with our educational credits. Every year we had to do that, and then where was I going with this? So sales psychology. In order to succeed at that place, it wasn't commission based, but if you wanted to get ahead and get promoted, they needed to see that you were like performing in order to show that you can take like the next step or next level in the company. And they were saying like if someone is calling really angry, you mirror back their anger. I was like, what? And then they're like slowly like taper it down
Yeah.
so that they match you, and then you guys get
Yeah.
both on like the same like plateau and have a conversation. Um, so I thought that was interesting that they went into those depths to like provide us with that training. Now they moved their head office to Guelph, so it's like all farmers, and like I think David Suzuki lives there or something. Like they're really all about the environment and like helping homeless people, and like just as a whole we did a lot of volunteer hours. So it wasn't a bad workplace overall, but there was some bad apples there. And I wonder from like a psychological viewpoint, if you were in HR, like what would you have done differently?
I feel like that is a good strategy. I mean, like nowadays we do call it like match the vibe. So
Right.
yeah, I would kind of do the same thing, but not like too aggressive.
Extreme.
Yeah, not too extreme. Yeah. What would I do?
Like for me, I just call the cops.
I mean, if the situation were that extreme, then yeah, I feel like that would be a better option.
Because I just realized now, because I spoke to the police officer yesterday, and he said, if you can't reach me on my phone, here's my email. So like if something happens, you can't reach my phone, send me an email. So like if you're in the workplace and someone is doing something like this to you, just email the police.
I
Like you
didn't know
don't
you
need
could do that.
I didn't know either. And I was like, this is good. This is what I needed. I wish I had this like years ago.
Yeah.
Because in that situation, HR was not intervening. They couldn't. Like
Hmm.
there was no way, and they didn't know what to do. But now, like outside of HR, outside of the company, like who is there to protect us? Police.
Hmm.
So I would recommend calling the police.
Yeah.
And on a psychology level, yeah, I think that's your best way to safety. Like
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is one of them, and that's how you'd probably regain safety at that point.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stop babbling. I said that to a police officer yesterday too. He was like, "It's okay, don't worry." um, I normally don't talk a lot, so this is new for me. Just talking in general, because I'm typically a very quiet person
Hmm.
generally, because I'm more of like an ambivert. I don't know about you. Are you introverted or like extroverted?
I would say I'm more extroverted. I get more energy from like social situations, like more than when I'm by myself. So.
Makes sense. All right. So for this project, in terms of work, it's pretty clear, and you just asked for the digital toolkit, like what it should look like. So I'll
Hmm.
work on that. Um, are you guys needing me to schedule another meeting just for the you guys? Are you okay to meet in Kumo space at your leisure? Like,
I
what did
mean,
we gather from what we were talking about just a few moments ago with everyone that was present?
from what I felt, I feel like it would be more productive if we were to meet on Kumo space because I don't know what like everyone's schedule is like. So
Right.
I feel like it would
Okay.
be easier to communicate with ourselves.
All right. So at least you guys have that. Um, otherwise, like I'm free to let you guys be and do whatever you need. And you know where to place things. It's all in this like database on the Google Doc. I provided the research template in the toolkit, and we're at time. So if there's no other questions, I'll let you go and continue on and let me know if there's anything you need help with or if you have concerns or just whatever. I don't care.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.